Hi everyone, Joe Adams here, U.S. immigration lawyer based in Los Angeles. Today our guest is very familiar to Hungarian audiences as the host of Hungarian Idol, but you'll know him in America as an anti-bullying activist, as an influencer, and as a model. And here he is. Fülöp, thank you so much for joining us today. You've got a really interesting background, and I wanted to ask you to maybe share your experiences about what led you to pursue arts and entertainment. You know, are you the only one in your family who does this, or do you come from a family of artists and entertainers? How'd you start doing your job?
Yeah, well, that's a really funny question because I was more like the black sheep in my family when I decided to do this. And so I'm from Hungary, and Hungary is not a huge country. We have around 10 million people living there. And I was one of those first people who started to create social media content. And it just happened to be that I got the following, and people started to like me or just follow me for some reasons. And the TV channel that I worked for in Hungary, that's one of the biggest commercial TV channels. And I think they thought it was a good opportunity for them to have their audience contain the younger people that are usually on social media, because cable TV channels nowadays are, I think, having some struggles, having those young people to sit down and watch a 2-hour TV show, because those young, we can say kids, are usually just scrolling their TikTok, Instagram, whatnot. And then I went and I did it was kind of like a how to be a TV host school that I went, and then I got the opportunity to be one of the co-hosts for Ninja Warrior in Hungary, and that was the first chance to show if I'm good enough or not. And to be honest with you, I think the reason that I got that opportunity was because with that production, they wanted someone. I took some online interviews with the contestants, and they wanted someone who could create content by their own, because I didn't have an editor and a cameraman with me. I had to record everything with a phone by myself and kind of find out what was the content that was interesting enough to have the people watch it. So I was creating the content for them.
So there seems to be a real interplay between social media and traditional entertainment.
Here in the United States, I still don't have a so-called established career yet. I try to find my ways, and I'm really working super hard on everything possible. And I just hope that in the end of the day, it's going to be enough.
When you got started out, was your family supportive of what you were doing? Were they
Not at all.
What were they, and your friends growing up, were they supportive, or were they like, "Oh, Fülöp, this is too much"?
They didn't say that. It was more just like that traditional a career path that a parent want to their kids. Usually they kind of wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, someone that so-called a predictable way of life that gonna make enough money to have a nice life. And it's kind of, you know what, sometimes it's true, because what I do, I mean, I'm not saying that any other jobs are not top sometimes, but being an actor or TV host, model, all those jobs in the entertainment field, you have a lot of ups and then a lot of downs.
So you had made it to a pretty high profile place in Hungary. You were hosting major cable shows and network shows. You had a big social media. You have a big social media presence in Hungary. I would imagine just walking down the streets in Budapest, that people recognize you. They want to take pictures with you. So you had achieved a great deal in your native country. What made you decide that you wanted to move to the United States?
I keep asking myself. um, you know what? It was such a humbling experience to come here first, in LA, where I didn't have enough money, I didn't have friends, I didn't have any of my sponsors who were giving me a lot of stuff for free, which is a thing that a lot of people don't talk about, but that's a fact. Being a public figure means that you get a lot of free stuff. Here, I didn't get anything. And it was just something like that was funny. The first time that I was like 24 years old, and I realized that I needed to do my own laundry. And I was like I called my assistant in Hungary and I was like, I don't know how to make this work. So this is just something that it's so stupid. Like I know that it's silly because most people they know how to do it. And now I know how to do it and I'm willing to do it. I cook, I do all that stuff. But you know, when you grow up in a very fortunate situation, you just get used to it. And it's super hard to be in the reality after it. But for my personality, I think that was a really good experience. And I would prescribe it for all those public figures, for any other countries, also from the United States, to go somewhere where they don't have enough money, they don't have anyone to know them, and just be a normal average person who needs to build up everything from point zero, and it changes a lot. Their personality will change a lot.
What I've noticed with my clients is oftentimes they'll be sort of the black sheep in their smaller town or village. They're the ones who want to dance, to be a social media star, etc. And then they make their ways to the sort of the big entertainment capital of their country. You know, it'll be London for Brits, or Budapest for Hungarians, or Beijing for people from China. And then they kind of realize they've reached a certain limit where they can't get further in their career. It sounds like that's something you experienced.
Well, I mean, it depends on what is the limit that you think that is the maximum. In a sense, yeah. It was one of those things that I was considering when I came here. But I mean, it's like it's also relative because you can have like, for example, let's talk about Hungary. If you work in the entertainment industry, you hosting primetime TV shows, you have the social media following. There, it's kind of like the same situation than here being an A-list star in those Hollywood productions. Because you can you can buy a nice house, you can drive a nice car, you have the people to recognize you. So if someone is in a way satisfied with this whole world and experience, that could be kind of satisfying for them there too. It's not that big, it's not that major, but in that so-called bubble, it's kind of the same experience. I was rather looking for something else, something more challenging for myself. But yeah, that's true that it wasn't that big or major than when someone is like a superstar in one of those movies.
So you made the decision to come to the United States, and you're living and working here now. What would you say the biggest cultural differences are between, say, Southern California and Hungary?
I don't even know where to start at to name one of them. Like it was the first time that I came here, I felt like that I was in another planet. Like starting from you can make rides at a red light.
But what about the people?
People are easier to like to be open for other people. So they usually smile more, ask more about your day, stuff like that. But for me, who's not a native English speaker, was even scarier, because when I went somewhere, and like you know me from like some years now, and my English wasn't like this. Like I had struggles of like making a sentence, and I was like thinking of words. My pronunciation wasn't as good. I had a really thick accent. And when you are in that situation, you just wish to not have any conversation with strangers, because it's just like a scary situation. So it was nice to have people always say something nice about me and ask me about my day, stuff like that. But if you're scared of those situations, you just can't really enjoy those conversations. So it was like an experience what was like different, and I was happy for it, that everyone is smiley, nice, say something nice, ask something nice. But when you just like kind of have that shield because you're scared of everything what's happening around you, it's not always the experience that you can be really happy for.
Anti-bullying has been a major part of your life. For people who don't know, maybe could you give some background into your efforts to promote anti-bullying and what you're trying to bring over from Hungary to the United States?
Yes, thank you for mentioning the project, because it's really important to me. That is an anti-social bullying nonprofit foundation that I have in Hungary right now. And I started that whole project because I was an overweight kid and I was bullied a lot in school. And I decided, when I got the following and when I started to go to the gym, and I was on a super hard diet already, blah, blah, blah. And I became the so-called popular kid, to say something for those that don't have this privilege, because I was in a situation for a very long time when I didn't have it, and it made my life hell in many situations. So we try to focus on people in any kind of certain situations when they're being bullied for anything. A big part of it is kids and bullied kids in school, because unfortunately kids are in many ways more likely to be a bully because they just unfiltered, and we know that a school is like a perfect situation to make a scene for to make someone a bully. So we try to educate people and highlight those situations when we need to focus on, as a parent, as a teacher, or as another kid, student in a situation. I don't want to use the term kid because, I mean, there are older students too, to show them that it's still harmful and it can causes very bad struggles in someone's life.
I'll put a link in the description to all of Fülöp's social media handles and his anti-bullying efforts, both here and in Hungary. And as we close out, just one final question, one final topic. What advice would you give to your younger self or to a young person looking to make the move to the United States?
You know, when someone is like young and they just like wild and they be like, I can do it, like, I don't care, I'm gonna be the one who gonna make it. And I still believe that I can be that person, and I still believe in myself and the hard work that I put in everything. But it's usually long years that you can succeed in something, and you just put the work in it, the energy, all that stuff, and you don't get it back for a very long time. And you need to be okay with it, because that's just how it is.
I think that's a great place to leave on. Fülöp, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your insights.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. We always learn something new from each of these different stories. If you'd like to learn more, I've written a book called Extraordinary Aliens, 12 People Who Pursued Wealth, Fame, and the American Dream. It's available on Amazon, so check it out.